broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Whoever I want to without them knowing.
You guys, this is Adele. I'm really excited about it.
I gotta send this link to my mommy.
Wait, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, we're on. This is it. Adele is playing.
I can't hear anything.
Well, I guess I'm the only one on today.
I can hear it.
What's up, guys? You can't hear anything?
Are you gone? Hi, guys.
Wait, are you kidding?
No.
Yeah, we're really on.
Oh my God. Wait, I'm so embarrassed. Hi.
It's okay.
I can't hear a thing.
We're having some technical difficulties, but while
I'm listening to some
while
great
Johnny
Adele.
gets situated.
No,
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 we're
I'm
serious.
100% serious.
Oh, I don't have anything on. Oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was like
either.
adjusting my pants.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're feeling a little tight. You ever eat and you're like, I gotta take the belt out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're on. I feel like you're playing a prank on me,
Swear
but
on
I'm
it.
gonna
For
go
real.
like we're doing it. Hi guys, welcome to AfterBuzz TV American Crime. This is like stupid.
I don't hear anything either. I'm with you.
Okay, good. Use hashtag ABTV American Crime and tweet at us all throughout the show. We would love to talk to you guys, hear your thoughts. This is for season 2, episode 7, and this show, you guys.
No, I can't. I almost didn't come tonight because I was like, I'm not even like I'm a dramatic person.
Yeah.
Speechless after like every this episode specifically. I don't even know what to say. Joe, you tweeted like my jaw is dropped. I need to pick up my jaw.
My jaw was dropped.
Yes.
Like literally dropped.
Unbelievable.
At the end of the episode. By the way, before we get going and before we give our handles, I want to tell you guys about a contest we're having. Ariana Grande's new perfume is called Frankie. And we're giving away a bottle or more, depending on how many we have, to people who follow all of us on social media.
That's right.
Follow us and retweet our link.
As we give our information, go follow us, and we will select some lucky winners to win this, and we will send it to you, to your home.
Yes.
I'll take it to the UPS store.
There you go. Like that.
Okay, so you can find me, Johnny Mangs, you can find me, Jon Manganello, at Johnny Mangs on Twitter and Instagram.
You can find me, Erica Renee Davis, at Erica Renee D on Twitter, Snapchat, Periscope, Instagram, and on YouTube. And if you say very nice things about me when you follow me, I will make sure you get one of these.
You can say nice things to me, and I'll make sure you get it over anyone that she's pitching. You guys can follow me at Nicholas Grava, Twitter and Instagram. And Snapchat if you'd like.
You can find me, Erica Jaye Green, that's spelled Jaye, on all social media.
You guys, I can't believe we're doing
It's weird to do a show when you can't hear. That's happened to me once before.
Right.
It's very
because
odd.
we started, I was like, when's this show gonna start? It's getting
Yeah,
late.
they cue us through our headphones. That's why we weren't
So
sure.
sorry
But we
about
are
that, you
on
guys.
and rolling and
I'm
ready
worried
to go.
I said something
You
embarrassing.
can turn up your headphones.
Before I knew we were
We can turn up the headphones. Bear with us.
So anyway, let's jump right into the episode. We've wasted enough time on Ariana Grande. JK, we love Ariana Grande here at AfterBuzz. I want to talk about maybe the smaller things that happened, so that way we can save the good, juicy stuff for the majority of the conversation. Is that okay with you guys?
Love it.
So let's talk about the protest at Marshall, okay? Because that is still going on. And I was reading in Vulture or maybe the AV Club the review of this episode, and one of the writers said, it just seems so undercooked.
I think
it's
that
like,
was
is this going
Vulture.
to tie in?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? What do you guys think about it?
I still don't have any affinity for the protests going on at the school. I almost feel that it's just another storyline to keep us interested, but not too focused on all the other drama. Like, just a fun little fluff side story. And I call it fun and fluff very flippantly. I know it's serious. I don't want to downplay the seriousness of students protesting, but I just don't see yet the relevance of the protest and having Evie go to that school and then I don't appreciate that storyline.
So what the AV Club, or Vulture?
Vulture.
What Vulture said is that this is maybe the only point of this storyline is to show a contrast between how controversy happens at a rich school and a poor school, which I thought was actually pretty interesting.
Which is true, because if you think about it, you know, what's Elvis's character's name? I always forget it.
Dixon
is allowing them to protest. And in episode 2, I think he even said, no, let's let them do it. You know, I'm not going to call. Compared to the other school that literally is putting a lid on things day in
trying
and
to use money to silence people.
Exactly. So it is complete contrasting things. I do think it's gonna bubble up. It's gonna become a main plot point at some point. I don't think this is just it. I think it has a bigger.
Yeah, I just thought it was like going to be like a comparison to see how things are spinning out of control from both of the principals' points of view. As you saw in the this last episode, I think was it a student or someone came in and was talking to him, and they were like, "Oh no, the parent was," and he was like, "Handle your business." He kind of just cut him off. He was like, "You're trying to tell me about how to run my household," which is, you know, with the basis of pretty much the show, what's going on in these households. But he's just like, you can't even run the schools. So I think that's kind of the relevance thing at this point, and they're just now introducing the other character from the last season, what the Mexican guy played. Was it his name?
I can't remember his name, but
his name is I have it somewhere. Sebastian.
Sebastian, the tech guy.
And it might tie in that way.
And we'll talk about that. Before we do, I just want to say that you bringing up the point about one school silencing the protesters and one school encouraging the protesters is interesting. I also think one more difference between the school is that in the rich school, the parents are so involved. But the poor school, or the less wealthy school, the students are leading the charge. I mean, they had that meeting where the parents were yelling, but I think it's more student driven.
Well, I think on the surface, and I think that's a really interesting point, because superficially it does look like at the poor school the parents are not involved, and at the rich school that they are involved. But these kids are going home and doing whatever they want to do. Eric is he's parenting himself. I feel, you know, Kevin's buying a girl a $900 bracelet. I mean, the kids are packing a Honda to go beat another kid up. So yeah, it seems like the parents are super involved, but these rich kids are just as self-sufficient to a fault as these poor kids are.
I agree. Let's talk about Sebastian, because you brought him up. I think he's an important part to this story, but maybe sort of buried under a whole mess of other crap. What'd you guys think of him calling Anne at her work, saying,
I was
excited.
excited.
I want to help you, I want you to do this.
I feel he's genuine. I think he absolutely. You think because when I immediately read him as being genuine, I was like, wait, do I have any reason to believe this, or am I just assuming that he really does have good intentions? I think he does. I think he really will end up helping out.
I don't know. Call me a pessimist, but I don't believe anybody does anything.
I am gonna call you a pessimist.
I mean, I don't believe that this stranger is just like, hey, I just want to help you out. I see you're going through a lot right now. I get there are people who are so against. Maybe his story ties in that way. Maybe he went through something similar, and that's why he wants to help out. But I don't think it's just like, oh, free of charge. I just
he said something about his daughter. He said, I have a kid, and if anyone ever did anything to her, I'd want someone to help.
Right.
So I do think he's coming from that sort of a place. Whether I think she'll get to the point where she needs his help, and I think it's getting closer to that.
I mean, we're 6 episodes in, so we have 4 more?
We're 7 episodes.
7. Oh, so he better start helping her real fast.
Wait, there's only 10. There's only 10 episodes this entire season.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
It's a miniseries. Okay, let's talk about Terry, Regina King's character, because she was in this much of the episode, but I do want to make sure we don't forget about her, because something big happened to her character. Her boss sort of asked her politely to not come into work as much.
Interesting power shift to see her not be in the position of power and someone else to be. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, she was definitely taken aback, and that's good for her. That's good for us as an audience, because I know so many people look at her character and don't like her for being so powerful, for owning her power and her stance and her own agendas. But to see that, I think having that boss put her in her place probably satisfies a lot of people out there who don't like her anyway.
You know what? I really appreciate the way she handled the whole situation. She cut him off with the gossip. I don't want to talk about this lady. She's already gone through enough. I don't know if it was because she actually cared about what the lady was going through, but she was like, I want to focus on me. I need to work on myself. And I really appreciate them showing that shift in her character, instead of, her trying to be the angry person all the time. I'm not going to even say angry black woman, because I'm so sick of that word, but whatever.
But you said it. But you said it.
I'm so sick of it.
But that's an interesting thing because we talk about this angry black woman archetype, and I hadn't heard that expression until like a year ago.
Are you serious?
Really?
Yeah, Johnny.
Interesting.
No, I think it was actually when we were doing season 1.
American Crime.
But
yeah.
again, that probably speaks to my, lack of knowledge of, growing up in an all-white community.
True.
My lack of knowing that many black people growing up. But I just think it's interesting because I never think Terry is angry because she's just like this, like, vague angry black character.
Yeah.
I think she's angry for deliberate reasons. Whether or not I agree with how she's reacting is a different story. But I think anything Regina King does is going to be nuanced.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree
Right?
with that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I do. And I think to your point about not having black friends growing up, so you didn't really know the whole angry black woman stereotype. I mean, but even on television, like that's oftentimes how black women are portrayed. Look at reality television.
Yeah.
The Omarosa.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Omarosa, the what's her name, the Nene Leakes from Atlanta.
Yeah.
No matter how successful, how powerful, how successful, and how accomplished they are, they always find a way to make them seem aggressive and overly assertive.
And they
put
even
them in that
encourage
same
that.
box.
And
If
encourage
you're
it,
not loud and abrasive, you're boring.
You're boring,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. You're going to have to get off the season unless there's more drama.
Unless you
in
throw
your
that
life.
water at lunch.
I can't just be me, So
I want to talk about this all day long because I want to talk about how the media pits women against each other, but maybe that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
I have a question
yeah.
in that same fan line, and if you want to touch upon it later. So Kevin, do we think he's going to be? Is there a bigger story to him and his involvement? Because he's been named. The
There has to
family
be.
had such a, with them having a lawyer, and she's so upset, and we're following them. There has to be more to his involvement, right? But now with this new plot line that we have, these two new plot. I'm like, where's that? That kind of falls. Like, are we going to find out more about the party? I feel like no. I feel like we've moved past that.
I do
So I'm a
too.
little disappointed in his plot. I don't know. I just think maybe he could have had a bigger role in things.
Well, Kevin had something to do with Taylor getting beat up. No? Right?
Yeah.
He orchestrated it.
He
Yeah.
did. I'm saying more like at the party. Like we knew he threw the party, but did he ever? I don't know. That's just
So
for me.
I will say that I think Kevin's character is not the most interesting part about the LaCroix family. I think Terry is what's more
She is.
compelling, whereas the other families, that's not so true.
The kids, yeah. I agree with that.
I've read an interesting comment on YouTube from one of our listeners who stated that Kevin might have had a bigger hand from what they've kind of shown us throughout
those quick
episodes.
flashes.
Yeah,
this
and the
episode.
fact that he could have possibly been the one who drugged him, the way he was calling him a bitch, saying that he was the bottom. I think someone definitely noted that in one of the comments, saying that's why he went so hard about it. He was like, yeah, maybe he saw him having sex with Eric. He knew the whole. I think he has a lot more play in this than what we think he has.
Oh,
at
totally.
this
And
point.
we have 3 more episodes to see what else is happening. I mean,
Can't believe only
this
3.
episode could have, in my mind, I mean, there's so many loose strings, but it could have been the last episode in terms of some of the plot points.
and climax point and everything.
Yeah.
I
Like
agree.
the school shooting,
Crazy.
we'll get to.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I won't
No,
jump
because there's
ahead.
one
I
more
won't jump
thing I
ahead.
want to mention, and that is, we kind of briefly touched on it, but Eric's brother spray painting "God hates fags" on the school wall, and then him getting
reprimanded.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting because it shows that Principal Dixon is not just prejudiced against the.
I think he's.
By the way,
What?
I figured out the difference between Latino and Hispanic.
What?
Hispanic is a language thing. Latino is a land thing. So someone could be Spanish speaking but not be Latino.
Yes.
Is that what you said the other day?
No.
It sounded like you were like. Yeah,
Here's the weird part. Here's the weirdest part about this.
All like.
Here's the weirdest part about this. I asked this question last week or the week before, and I could have gone home and Googled it. I didn't. I forgot about it. And then last night I was scrolling through Facebook, and some random person had posted this like cartoon about the difference between Latino and Hispanic. I was like, whoa.
Interesting.
No. So
Okay.
now we know. So I believe we can call the Hispanic characters Hispanic because we know that, at least we know Principal Dixon is Spanish speaking.
Gotcha. With that plot line with the principal, I keep forgetting Eric's dad's name. What is it?
I have no
Michael?
idea.
Is it
Oh,
Michael?
No,
sorry.
that's Kevin's dad.
Kevin's dad.
Eric's dad.
Okay, anyways, I think, and I don't know if I'm alone on this, I think he's really doing a good parenting job.
I agree with you.
Thus, like, I gotta tell you, he is taking the cards he's being dealt with, and in all senses, with his wife, with both his sons, and the way he's, I don't know, I just think everything he's doing this far.
Interesting, because I was watching that scene between him and Eric where he was just like, I need you, begging his son to step up, and it was like, he was like, Eric was pretty much like, my plate is full. Yeah. I need you. I'm holding down the fort.
I guess I saw it more as like, listen, like, enough of you and your little pity party. Like, we're moving on. We have issues. We're getting. He's not like pushing him out. He's not sort of. I took it as that.
I'm not impressed by any of these parents.
The only thing that I can disagree with that, Nick, is they still haven't shown us Eric and his dad having the conversation about his homosexuality and when it started. Because I think at the beginning of the season, we saw them playing basketball, and he was like, wear deodorant so you'll smell good for the girls. And then when he finally, tried to commit suicide, then he was like, we can talk about it, and he just walked past him in the kitchen. So I have a big problem with that, because obviously the pain that Eric is going through is a direct result of his homosexuality. And the dad hasn't even had the heart-to-heart with him yet that we've seen.
But it's true.
I think, but then we look at Taylor's mom and how she's handling it with forcing conversations. I think he's doing a nice way of sort of just letting it, almost being there for his son, but then still just letting it organically pop up when it's happening.
I'm sorry.
You think it's like, sit down, we're going to talk about this.
We got to talk about sex and penises and vaginas and homosexual sex and heterosexual sex and oral sex. Like, we got to talk about all of this. And they haven't talked about any of that, and it pisses me off.
And I will say, to argue against your point about him being a good dad, any father who allows one son to be so anti-gay to the other gay son is wrong. Like,
you're right.
If one of my sons was talking about, because I have all these sons, by the way,
just one of them, right.
was making fun of my other son for any reason, we would have to have a conversation.
I completely agree with you.
Okay, so those are some of the smaller plot points. Let's just dive into the elephant in the room, because we had first of all, Connor, is it Jessup or Yesup? I
think it's Jessup. I just think a phenomenal actor. Phenomenal actor.
Anytime a young actor is this good, I'm like,
how? Yeah. I agree. I agree.
So it really was his episode, and I want to talk about his purchasing the drugs, his drug trip, his trip to the house of the people who watched him when his mom had to go away, and then the gun. The big old gun, the big old shooting. Yeah.
We are going to touch on Eric in the whole car scene, because that absolutely frightened.
Oh, absolutely.
For having kids.
I wouldn't consider that small, though. I thought
Okay. Oh,
so let's talk about Taylor. Whoa. Yeah. Right? So he's at his boyfriend's house.
Why? Like, why are you not in school?
I agree.
Why are you not in school, dude?
You're in high school. Like, this is not your own, like, you in your 20s, go ahead. I don't care what relationship you're in. It's like, you're going to go under the same rules. No, it's school. Well, I agree with you. I thought that, I'm like, what?
His mom's at work a lot. She probably doesn't know, though.
Probably doesn't.
So anyway, he's there, and he then goes. First of all, we haven't seen him since before he got beat up.
That's right.
We didn't see the violence, because American Crime's lovely, and it's not so much about the shock, it's about the aftermath.
I love how that article touched on that too. Yeah.
But you got to read this article. This is the who wrote it? Let's see.
It was a great article.
Brian Tellerico. He's a great writer, and he writes for Vulture. He wrote a good synopsis of this episode. So he is talking about how American Crime doesn't show the violence, they show the aftermath, and that's important. And so we see him with this black eye, right, and some bruises. Then he goes off and buys drugs from Coach Dan's daughter.
Typical.
First of all, finally I was waiting for her to have some, when she's blurring. I'm like, who is it? What's happening? Boom. What? The poster too he bought, and I want to talk about that.
The samurai.
I mean, what you guys thought.
See, when he bought the poster, I thought he was buying the poster to try to convert himself to be. And then in the article that Tellerico wrote so beautifully, he explained that he wrote that to get his inspiration to become violent.
Yes,
But I saw it as he was like sitting on the bed, almost like fantasizing a little bit, or seeing if he was, and then he started breaking down a little bit. I didn't necessarily see it as a violence thing. immediately.
Me either.
No, I agree with you, Erica, because when I was looking around the room and seeing all the other posters, and I realized that I've been in rooms like that of younger people or people who are younger minded, and they have those really violent posters everywhere, several of them, and they start to kind of take on those characteristics. So I was thinking, the first thing that hit me was like, parents need to watch what their children are watching, looking at, reading books. It doesn't posters. I mean, because
fantasizing. That's they're building their fantasy on their wall, and you got to pay attention to what that is.
It's tough. I mean, when you have a single parent household and the parent has to be at work all the time, and the relationship with the son or the child is already messed up.
Yeah.
I think it's easier said than done, though.
Yeah. Well, my mom was a single parent with triplets. So easier said than done.
My gosh.
I mean, it was with a whip.
It wasn't
one
of three?
Yeah.
Wow.
You didn't know? Hi, I'm Erica.
I know who you are. I don't know who the other two are.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's either you crack down and you let them know right off the gate. You set a precedent right off the gate. This is what it's going to be and what it's not. Because we knew. We weren't playing. I mean, we did some stuff, but it was like, no, mom was not playing.
Well,
sorry.
Well, no, I was just going to piggyback on that because I think it's easy for people like us, or anybody who has great parents, single parents particularly, to say, well, we didn't do this, I knew better. But I think there are probably a lot of single parents out there who want to do better, who want their kids to not be spending first, second, third period with their boyfriend, skipping school. But there's only so much you can tell a kid before he or she's going to do what they want to do on their own.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're not talking about toddlers here. Right? Like these kids, they're not really even kids. They're young adults, and they are going to make their own decisions. If they want to sleep over at their boyfriend's house, like, what do you would have to physically remove them from the boyfriend's house.
Or you'd have to physically, be there 24/7, which just isn't a possibility.
So anyway, he gets this poster, and then he buys the drugs, right? But at first, he didn't even want something as crazy as Oxycontin is what he ended up getting. But she sort of pushed that on him. And
good drug dealer. Make that extra sell.
She knows how to upsell. I mean. But at first, also his boyfriend was like, "Why don't you go to the doctor? Why don't you get some medicine and do it on the up and up the right way?"
Right, and
he
probably should have.
Why do you think he decided no? You think he's just over that whole they're going to ask questions, they're going to want a story, I don't want to give it to them, so this is why he goes the drug route. Because that seems, why do that? Why go the drug route if you can get stuff?
Well, my question was, I was wondering while I was watching that scene, if they put that in there as relevancy as her being part of everything that went on too. She has the drugs, she has the access to these drugs. Her giving them to Taylor right there. Was she somehow connected, associated to it? Does she know?
Oh my God, he was drugged at the party.
Maybe they bought the drugs from her.
Exactly.
Boom.
So there has to be some relevancy of why she's even in
she's a drug dealer.
Well, and also, I mean, on drugs, he commits the crime. So
true.
It's going to be watch out, Coach Dan. Full circle here because it's going to be tied back to his daughter.
I didn't even think about Coach Dan.
I think. So then he goes to, his former guardian's home, and he says, "Hey, I'm gonna go into the bedroom."
Acting so sketchy.
Right,
enough red flags that I think any former guardian would do something.
I agree, and again, there's only so much that you can do when your kids are not in your sight. But my mom and dad always were like, "This is my house. I pay the bills. I put clothes on your back. I put food on the table. As long as I'm in the same."
You live in my house.
That was my same exact. Yeah.
What is
and I'm like, so if I could not come in my house with an attitude.
Exactly.
You don't come to my house with an attitude. Are you serious? You're gonna go to the room and do what? You're gonna close the door? No, you're not. You're gonna lock your door? No.
I totally am on board with you, but we're also talking about a kid who, in the same episode, kills another person. So the stakes are a little bit higher than you have an attitude.
The thing that I noticed, though, I was just watching his face while she was giving him that cliche speech. Your mom really cares about you. She misses you. You don't want to hear that when you're at rock bottom.
Yeah.
When you're there lying on the floor, you don't want to hear all this BS coming from an adult that doesn't understand.
I don't even know if you hear it. When you're so fired up at some point that it's just background sounds.
And you can see that. I love. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the actor's amazing. But you can see that slowly registering him. She doesn't get it. No one gets it. No one understands me. No one is getting it. And that's when he's went for the gun and was just blew her off and went out the door.
Here's how much I like Taylor. Or at least how much I liked him before, obviously, the end of the episode. When he walked into the woods and fired the first shot, I was like, oh,
No.
he's gone. I never get to see him again. I love Taylor. And then I heard the second shot, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's shooting a tree.
I told you guys that he wasn't going to kill himself.
I didn't think he was going to kill himself.
Everyone's like, he's going to do it. Well, you guys weren't, but in the chat room last week, they were like, he's going to do it. I was like, no, that's too easy. That's too pedestrian. Yeah.
So, well, he's still got time.
He does.
I could see there being a suicide.
But remember last season, there was like multiple deaths in the last episode.
No more bloodshed. I cried, man. This was.
I just didn't expect. When I tell you, like the opposite of expecting it, I was on. I did not expect either of these two things to happen, which is him shooting and the other one getting in the fight in the.
So he shoots the tree and then he writes the list. He by the way has this trip, which oh my gosh, I love this episode.
I was like, wait, what did we see? What did we get?
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
I thought we were gonna get flashes
Me
to the
too.
party, but we only got like split seconds.
I thought we were going to get flashes to someone molesting him as a child because they kept showing the baby and someone. I think we talked about last week. You know, maybe no one on the show said it, but the mom, Eric's mom asked, like, do you think Eric is gay because he was molested as a child? So I wondered
something you did.
Yeah, I wonder if Taylor's flashback was going to show him being assaulted or molested as a child.
So he writes down a list that, in my mind, was a hit list, but I guess there's no proof of that.
I think it will be. I think a lot of people will draw the line because he left it in the dance room when he got up.
Oh, I didn't notice
He left
that.
But he can't kill anybody
floor.
else though now.
Well, yeah.
But still, I think it's enough to see like premeditated, all that stuff.
So he writes Dr. Graham last, and then all of a sudden he's in Dr. Graham's waiting room. And the nice receptionist, probably the first person who's just been nice this whole series, without qualification, says, you know what, Taylor, I don't like how you were treated. And I think that changed his mind, right? Do you guys agree with that?
And I think that's, to me, I'm like, wow, imagine how many times in life, maybe something you said or someone else around, like the littlest thing could change someone's, and you don't know what people, I don't know, that's just, I could talk about that for hours, but I was just amazed at that.
And vice versa off of that, the littlest thing that you can say that can trigger someone road violence. That's why we have road violence, people going ballistic. You never know what someone is going through in their day, that you say something that could either end your life, in their life. So it's just, to me, I remember I was just bawling watching that scene. I was just, when she showed that genuine act of kindness, was like, hey, you know, I was just bawling. That was such a powerful scene to me, because you could see it in his face, like, wow, you know, maybe I don't have to do this. I can rethink this. It's not that bad. And, you know, that's where people are at when they get to the point where they want to kill somebody. I know it's heavy. Don't cry.
Yeah, it's sad.
I was tearing up.
You know, it's interesting because this show could be called, like, Taking a Walk in Someone Else's Shoes. That'd be a shitty name.
Yeah.
But that, to me, is what this show is. No, I do not agree with Taylor's decision to shoot Wes. However, if Wes hadn't been nice, if Wes had been nice to him, you know, like, it's a chain reaction.
I agree,
everybody affects everybody else.
That's true.
Yeah. And
that's true.
the secretary saved Dr. Graham's life, I believe.
I think so.
I want to go back to, Taylor is always saying, they're doing this to my mom. I said this 2 or 3 weeks ago. That is a cop-out for me, that he keeps saying, they're doing this to my mom. Like, before every act, before he acts out, he typically says, they're doing this to my mom. Like, no, dude. I mean, yeah, they're doing this to your mom, but he has not yet said, I am in pain. I am hurting. This is why I'm going to kill Kevin, Dr. Graham, Wes, whoever else is on the hit list.
But I think he cares more about his mom than he cares about himself.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I'm sorry. You care about your mom so much, but yet you're going to text Eric to say, oh, yeah, let's meet up, and then you get beat up again. Another poor decision. I know.
But when did he get the gun? When the medical records of his mom came out.
True. I mean, but he got the gun after he got beat up, which then, I don't know. I mean,
when his headache, when he like keeps the pain keeps like heightening him and heightening.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's a good point.
I don't know.
Did he say it when he came into the cafe? Did he say something when he came into the restaurant at the last scene? I feel like he said something to his mim, being like, they wouldn't get. I don't know. I think he mentioned his mom
I'm
again.
I'm sure he said they're doing this to your mom. Like, I mean, I feel that he has projected, and he's projecting this pain, and he has not once. And again, maybe I'm being too harsh for a 16 or a 17-year-old. maybe I am.
Well, and it bottled up, and it exploded tonight.
You know, I was watching this episode, and I kept thinking to myself, at first I thought that this whole season was about class and race. But now watching it, to me, it seems like it's showing that side of what these school shootings, the other side of what's going on with the kids, why this keeps happening.
Right.
And I think it's really interesting that they're showing us this, and that's what I really had a heart-to-heart with. Is like, wow, I mean, kids, you know, this is their life, and they feel like they're just backed up to a corner to go so as far to take lives.
Yeah.
Like that, to just showing us this is just, I think this season is like powerful to me. Like,
Yeah.
It's eye-opening.
it's like, yeah, and they're really showing us from the beginning to the end.
Oh, totally.
This was built up. This was built. He didn't just go one day, oh, somebody says a mean word to me and I just wanted to shoot up the school. No.
True.
He was going through this and he was shouting out, help me, and no one helped him, and this is the end result.
And this is different than a mass school shooting.
Yeah.
Because...
But it could have went that
It
far.
could have
It could have gone
It
that
could have
far.
gone that far.
But when I think of Columbine, I think of
No,
senseless shooting.
No, nothing like that.
And
Like,
and I think of any shooting as
Okay.
senseless, but I think of it as more senseless. This was like, I was talking to my coworker today who was also very passionate about the show, and I was saying to her, like, basically, this could be, I mean, it couldn't, but he could use self-defense as an argument. Like, Wes did not say, hey, you're gay. Wes said, if you come back around here, I'm gonna kill you. Which, okay, yeah, you can't shoot someone for saying that to you, but also, like, that's scary.
See, okay, so what I find problematic in that, Johnny, is that anyone in this room could say someone has bullied us or given us a reason to freaking blow their brains off.
Oh, of course.
So,
he shouldn't have shot him.
So take the Columbine kids, for example. I mean, they perhaps were bullied, you know, and you know what I'm saying? So I think we get on a very slippery slope where we say Wes was justified in being shot. I know you didn't say those words.
Oh,
exactly.
no.
Okay,
I don't think
I just had to
I don't think he should have been shot.
Okay.
I think I see the motivation for why Taylor shot him in a way that I've never seen the motivation of a shooter before.
Yeah. And I like how when he went to the cafe, the news was, I keep calling it diner. Whatever
yeah.
The news was on the background, and it was very similar, almost scary to me, how real it sounded from the news I've seen every single day. You know, from what we're gathering now, or whatever, and they're leading these facts, and then you see him and her and the real story right in front of you, and you're wondering, like, how many times it is eye-opening to see this side of it. And to think, like, if we only had more people as these receptionists that treat people like she did, how things could be different.
When I don't think that was any mistake. I think that moment sticks out for me in this episode because it was this it was a small moment of human kindness and it saved a life.
Not even like how she wasn't giving him an answer. She wasn't, giving this big golden key to something. She was literally just leveling with him and being honest. The first person.
The humanity. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
That's scary, you guys. Oh man. No, let me make it very clear.
No, I think it was
gun violence is awful. I do not like it. It's bad. Wes should not have been shot. Period.
Or at least not in the stomach. Maybe in like the knee or something where he wouldn't.
I mean, not vital play.
Let me not laugh.
Let's talk about the silent gunshot because Nala says the silent gunshot was so amazing. I couldn't agree more. I didn't even know he was shot until they panned down and there's some blood. Yeah. And then, even then I was like, well, maybe this is like a surreal drugged out dream or something.
I thought the same. My head went right there too.
Until Felicity Huffman got the text.
Yeah.
Until the kids ran out of the school and I'm like, okay, I guess this is real because it's no longer his point of view. It's something else that's happening. Yeah. I mean,
what? On what? On the shooting scene?
Yeah.
I thought it was beautifully shot. I mean, just the you call it cinematography? Yeah, cinematography. The cinematography in that scene was it made you second guess yourself. It made you think, like you said, is he having another trip like he did in the woods, or is this really happening? Yes, Wes is as excellent of an actor as is Connor.
I
Taylor.
thought Wes felt the gun in his jacket, and that's why he started to back away. And then when they showed the blood, my immediate thought is no way. I'm like, no, that didn't just happen. Yeah. That's not where the show's going, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then it never stopped. It never became the Yeah.
I was surprised that Wes died.
Same here. I thought they would pull it back and be like, he was severely injured and he's in the hospital.
My original question was, why was it okay that Taylor was just up at the school during the time he should have been at his
Wouldn't
school?
it be a red flag?
Yeah. She asked him, the reception asked him, are you coming back to school? No, I'm not. So why are you here, Taylor?
Right.
My question was, they have a lot more lockdowns with security on schools like that. You just can't wander on people's school and have he had no visitors badge or anything. Not like they're going to be that technical on it. But still.
So he went from the secretary's office to
the dance room. I mean, he was chilling.
To the dance room. Maybe it's because Leland is such a small. I'm joking.
I think an
community.
expensive school.
I think that would even raise more flags because everyone, you're in this dancing room. It looked like it was the 2 dancers and him. Aren't they going to be like, oh, that's the kid that all this stuff's happening about? This is weird, and that's where he left the.
Yeah, those flags. That's between life and death. Like not noticing it.
Let's talk about Eric, because Eric had a big moment in this episode.
Yeah.
Are you all right? I want to make sure we've.
Well, I think I'm gonna survive.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I thought I had water.
I know we're like looking for the water. I'm like, I'll have some of your water. Not.
I gulped this down before Sir Richard Wentworth finishes his opening bit.
Oh man.
AfterBuzz TV. Okay, so let's talk about Eric and him getting on that hookup app.
That scared
meeting
me.
up with a married man, and then the guy
just unleashes.
Because Eric does what? I mean, what was the motivation?
He was ranting about his life, and then he was like, I don't want to hear that.
So I came to
and
get
then
some booty,
boom. But my immediate thought was like, did this guy come with the intention to like, I don't know, kill him, beat him up? It just seemed odd to me for him to set off that quick. I don't know people and everyone in this world, but I'm like, maybe he was just a crazy ass person that was.
Did you?
Well, I was just going to say in the article that Brian Tellerico wrote, he points out that we never see what actually happens in the van.
Right.
So
pulls out.
I'm like, did he like penetrate? Like, did he rape him?
That's my thought.
I thought I didn't think that, but I did think that Eric stabbed him. We were all in the because I heard it. He has blood on his hand, and then you see him throw something down, and we hear something get thrown down, and then he's like stumbling away.
So
and that guy
Eric
is struggling
and
in the seat.
Killed somebody.
Yes, I don't know if he's dead, but I definitely. I mean, I would be. I don't know for sure, but I do know. I feel like it. He stabbed him with something
In the eye.
in the face.
In the face.
Yeah.
It's just so
I
crazy.
missed that. That went right over my head.
I totally missed that. But when he initially got picked up by the minivan, and they made it a point to show that he was getting picked up by a creeper in a minivan. I remember hearing a story about somebody was telling me how they were at a club in Atlanta, and they were looking for a spot to park, and they looked in all these cars at this. It was a gay club. They looked at all these cars, and they all had like kid seats in them and stuff like that. The rings maybe like tucked somewhere. Like I was like, why are you all up in people's car? But like rings hanging up on the thing, like hitting these double lives that people are living. I thought, how frightening.
Got you.
that?
I see what you're saying.
That's how he
He
almost
was
leveled
talking
with him. He used that.
Yeah,
He was
I
like,
was like,
what did he say? I have a wife and
daughter,
kids.
right?
I need some time to be me.
What?
And then Eric just jumped in the car.
That's
that was crazy. And he thought it was gonna be a sports car. Like obviously this guy lied
Different
about
name,
him.
different car.
Yeah.
Like red flags for anyone in any situation.
Yeah, again, this goes back to how each of these kids each of them made a horrible decision at the top of the season. But then they keep making stupid decisions, and I know I keep saying that, but I guess it's necessary for them to keep making stupid decisions for the show to continue to have, for the characters to have motivation.
Sure.
But it's very irritating to watch them.
Erica, kids make stupid
Yeah,
decisions.
I think
True.
I know,
Okay,
but
true,
honestly,
true.
I have to say that I feel as frustrated as you. But I can say that I know people in life that I've seen make very stupid decisions continuously.
Like week after week, like day after day. I'm
Even
like,
after they get repercussions, they still make and that's
Maybe
why
because
certain people
they get these repercussions.
I
Right?
mean, it's sort of like this cycle. The one thing puts them in another place. When we said this about people in the system, like young kids in the system last season. It's this terrible cycle that they get put through. I thought Taylor broke the cycle at some point when he had a smile on his face. After he wrote the kill list. If it wasn't a kill list, I was like, he had like the smile on his face and like the light and the sun was shining. And I was like, he's never smiled yet. Maybe like he got like settled and he's moving on. He wrote the names down. He's over it. not the case.
The acting on this show is so good. I want to punch someone.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
We're at school.
It's so good.
Yeah. So good.
I'm troubled by the fact that he was high and then went and killed somebody. Like, nobody, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, was he high on weed and pills?
Yeah.
Or was it just, because, I mean,
He ate something.
You
He,
don't
like,
kill
chewed
people on
something,
weed.
too, and I'm like, is that some kind of
sure
edible
don't.
he's eating?
Right?
Yeah, I think on weed you sit at home and eat pizza.
It's chill, like the girl said. She's like, this is chill.
Yeah.
stuff.
We're not condoning violence or.
We're
drugs.
not, but I really, okay, so when he had the trip and he started smiling, as you pointed out, I thought, he's definitely not going to commit suicide because no one commits suicide when they're high on weed. But yeah, he goes and kills somebody. Like, I
don't know.
That to me is not consistent with what I know personally about marijuana. But I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
Let's talk now about Leslie. At the beginning of the episode, she's trying to offer Evie's father money to stay silent.
Take the money.
Well,
I think take the money too in his situation. I'm sorry, you are not involved. Evie doesn't have to be involved. To my knowledge, she's not involved either. Take the money, help your family, move on. You don't have to talk.
Move out of the state.
Get away from it.
Yeah.
That's the smartest thing.
the
Unless
thing
she's
is-
involved and like deserves justice if she did something bad, get away from the situation.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay.
And I'm not sure you should take money to lose your voice. Like,
Sure,
your
I
voice
would-
is
yeah.
the one thing you have.
Also,
Sometimes you should though. I mean,
I think it's individual situations,
think so,
individual
too.
people. I don't know if there's always even a right. It might be right for him and wrong for someone else. I don't know,
True.
you know?
And again, I'm not advocating being a pushover, but I do think that in life you have to pick your battles. And as you said, Evie's involvement, from what we've seen, is not as intense, or she's not involved as much as the kids from Leland. So if her involvement is as superficial as we have shown that it is, take the money and peace out. Sorry, lose your voice. Move to Georgia, where houses you can get a mansion for $150,000. Live a good life.
I don't know.
It's Georgia funding you. Move to
Real
Georgia.
estate of Georgia.
But really, it made me wonder how much more was her involvement in this whole thing, because for her to be offered such a sizable, settlement, I'm like, well, she had to have had said something to the police or somewhere along the line that let them believe that she knows more than what we think she knows, what the audience knows. So we don't even know if he took the settlement.
We don't know.
So I'm interested to see if that's going to come back up.
I hope he
in
took
one
it.
of the next episodes, or if she's going to come maybe stand up for Taylor or say, be on this corner, maybe.
I thought he was texting her when he went to text the girl for drugs. For some reason, after he was looking at the poster, I thought maybe he was texting her.
I
Also,
didn't think so.
weird or not weird that he was like trying to hook up with the girl. I forget her
No,
name.
he wasn't trying to hook up with her. She came on to him.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he kept being
Well,
like,
also, I don't-
stay and hang.
I think he's bisexual. I do think he's bisexual. I don't think he's purely gay.
I don't know. He didn't look like he was interested.
Yeah, but look
in
about
her.
how Eric told the story, and when he was in the van before shit got crazy, he was like, "Yeah, this kid. He said he wanted to experiment, and then he didn't. So it
Here I am
happened."
putting labels on things. He can kiss whoever he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but you can still say he's bisexual, or I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with identifying him as.
So
He can be whatever.
Yeah.
let's talk about Leslie and Dan. Dan's upset because Taylor's mom's medical records got out.
yeah.
And he's like, well, that's not
She
right.
did it. Definitely leaked those records.
Some people think it's Mr.
Yeah.
LaCroix who leaked it.
It was.
From the police officer.
But wait a minute, listen up. So
Listen up, folks.
So Dan is in the office and they're sort of butting heads. Well, then he leaves, Leslie leaves, and Dan goes back into the office to look for his
Glasses.
in his pocket.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that.
Are we surprised that who's called 911 at the end of the episode? Were you surprised that that was her last move, or did you think? I thought she was gonna help him like run.
I did too. I did too. And then I was
Anne's
like, you
not
know
that
what?
crazy.
You're finally making
She
the
did. That
hard,
scene.
correct choice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That long shot at the
Uh-huh.
end. Ooh.
Continuous shot holding on, then they just zoom in and like their heads kind of go, and it's just her holding his jacket.
Yeah.
And then
You
hear
guys,
sirens.
this might be the first week we have time to make leisurely predictions. So let's go ahead, do the predictions. We can talk more.
And now,
I don't have any. This show and this show is too real for me to even. I don't know.
I'll make one simple
Go.
prediction. I've already said it 10 times. Becca provided the drugs for the people at the party. and so she's gonna have some responsibility.
She's gonna have responsibility no matter what, because she provided him drugs now. Ooh. I think it's gonna go back to her mom too, because that's her mom's weed too.
Those are her mom's drugs.
We always been like, why is she a marijuana head?
Yep. Okay. Marijuana head.
Yeah, that's my word. I think.
What's your prediction?
I think my prediction would be I don't think we've seen the end of bloodshed in this. I think there's going to be more, and I think there's going to be a suicide for some reason. I see that. I think Eric is going to get really freaked out, and I'm interested to see what happens to him after this, because he's walking away from a car where he stabbed somebody.
Ooh.
Erica?
Yeah, I think Dan might come across something that might help out with the case, and they never really showed him coming out the office, so he's in there good, like all up in her stuff. And I think Effie, I don't know, I still feel like there's more to Effie than just the end of the settlement. I think she might end up being he's not a lost cause, but right now I think that might be the only person in his corner at the end of the day. Because she cared about him. She told him, I have feelings for you. And feelings just don't go away. And I think she's going to end up being probably the person that's going to show him a little bit of decency at the end of all of this. Because,
No, I'm just listening.
Yeah. No, I was just listening too. And I was thinking too, because I wanted to give David F. Baldwin a shout out. David F. Baldwin. And then I think Aaron Robinson, because they're always so supportive. And okay, let's go. David and Aaron.
Thanks for watching. You guys are great. All of you are great. I love the lively conversation we have.
What's your prediction? You didn't give your prediction.
It's tough. Yeah. With this show, I make a prediction, and then 2 seconds later, I'm like, no, I don't really believe what I'm saying. I don't want to talk just to talk, so I don't really know. I'm just stunned.
Do you think Dan is now going to be advocating for the other side, or find himself on the other side of the situation because his daughter's involved, and it helped the kid, or gave drugs to the kid that's now...
Okay. So Taylor shooting Wes is, I said earlier, it's such like an episode 10 thing. Like the fact that it happened in episode 7, I do not know what's left.
Right. Yeah.
Because obviously he is going to be punished. He has to be punished. And like, it's just sad. Everything's sad.
It is.
No one can bounce back. I don't know. I trust the writers and I trust John Ridley, so I know it's going to get better. But I can't make a prediction because it's just over.
Yeah.
Life sucks.
Well, hopefully
for these kids.
This whole situation will bring everything out, what really happened, the whole story, and maybe people can start healing. That's what I'm hoping. If they had this, it's not. We have 3 episodes left. Hopefully now it could be some type of process. But I don't know. American Crime really doesn't end like that, as we saw the last season. But
they always leave me satisfied though, in a bad or good way. I'm always like, I'm happy with what they give me. They do well.
Well, with Wes being murdered, the police are going to definitely launch a very thorough investigation now. Because you don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's serious now.
Somebody's dead.
Quickly before we go, a guy named Art tweeted at me saying, Evie's father was being offered money to sign a legal waiver for any potential claims against Leland School, not to silence him. To me,
same thing.
That's what I meant. I think they go hand in hand, but I understand your point. He can speak, just not on certain subjects. And then he says, I believe Eric stabbed the hookup with a broken beer bottle.
Broken beer bottle. That's what he used. Yeah.
So, all right, we'll figure out more on this next week, I guess, because I really am interested in seeing what happens to Eric and that weird, gross dude.
Todd.
And please join us next time. I will be able to hear when the show starts, unlike this week. Again, you can find me, Jon Manganello, at Johnny Mangs on Twitter and Instagram. And if you follow us all, you are signing yourself up to win Ariana Grande's Frankie.
I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can follow me on Snapchat, Periscope, Twitter, and on Instagram at Erica Renee D.
I'm Nicholas Grava. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat at Nicholas Grava.
Hi, I'm Erica Jaye Green. You can find me on all social media, Erica Jaye Green. That's Jaye.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.